series, and I'm going to show you a few little things you can do to spice up your playing using basic chord tones out of these plain old chord shapes that you've known for years and years, and some little chromatic enclosures that are basically just little finger patterns. And you can play them really easily, make your playing sound a lot jazzier without having to worry about any kind of scales or really any kind of theory. And it's a great way for you to maybe step into jazz. You can use this in your blues, you can use it in your rockabilly, in your metal. It kind of depends on where you want to go with your music. So anyway, the idea is you start with a basic chord shape. And the basic chord shape in this case is this F shape that was the first difficult chord you ever learned how to play. So I'm going to move it up here to A. And level one is just basically when you're trying to solo over a chord progression, when someone is playing an A dominant chord or A major chord, you play out of this chord shape, which is at A. And when they move to D of some kind, you move it up here to the D position. This is not the most elegant way to play over chord changes, but it's a good place to get a start. Hopefully we'll be hitting on some more strategies in later videos that will teach you how to play over chord changes in the same position and also move up and down the neck while you're on the same chord. Step one is basically, I'm playing it over an A dominant. This is an A13 in this case. And I'm just going to play the notes out of the chord shape. Go to D. Basically what I was doing is I was just following the chord progression. I did hit a flat 7 here out of habit, unfortunately, but that's just one extra note you add to the chord shape. So basically, again, all I'm doing is as the chords change, I'm just playing the chord. But instead of strumming it, I'm playing it one note at a time. Now, the key to this, so that it doesn't sound really dumb, is to have good phrasing, to play cool rhythms, and to not pick every note the same volume. So you want some dynamics, you want something to be loud, something to be soft, you want to add some space. A really great way to build some ear training into your practice is basically when you play through these, try singing along with them. So for instance, right? And so you can build more complex notes into that as we go along. So step two is, instead of just playing out of this, now I'm going to play out of this E7 shape. This is an A7, and I'm going to add in this note. So instead of going, now I'm going to go. And since I'm playing this note, I can add that in up here, because that's the same note an octave higher. So I'm playing 5th fret on the D string, 7th fret on the D string, 6th fret on the G, 5th fret on the B, 5th fret on the A, and right here, that is 8th fret on the B. So instead of, now I'm going, right? Now, when you practice scales and arpeggios, don't just go, make it musical. So actually make it, even when you're just playing scales and arpeggios, things that are kind of dry and clinical, go ahead and make it funky. right? So I improvise a little bit in there, but even when I'm just playing, you're not just going, make it swing a little bit. Right, so I'm going to go through and just improvise over a 12-bar blues. So I accidentally hit this note, so I might as well show you where that's coming from. So now I have that, and when I'm playing this A13 chord, which is 5th fret, skip, 5th fret, skip, 6, and 7, I have this note in there. So it's any note that's in the chord, you're safe to land on. You're safe to play that over the chord. So now I have this. And another cool note is here, it's the 9, right? So over this chord, right, that works. If it sounds good as a chord, it's going to sound good melodically. So I can add that in. Right, so I messed up a few times there, but you get the idea. So the next step is to start thinking about other things that might work over this. So if I'm playing blues, obviously I can play that blues scale over that, even though some of the notes are wrong notes. Just because someone says it's a wrong note doesn't mean it's a wrong note. If it sounds good, it is good. So you might take some music theory class to say you should never play this note over that, or sometimes it just logically does not work over that chord, but it's really all about context, and it's about you play what you dig. So I'm going to add in that blues scale to this. So one of the things I'm doing there is I'm using what are called enclosures. And technically, when I add in the blues scale with this arpeggio, I get all these notes that I can use. The thing is, with the blues scale, you can't just land on any note. There's certain notes that are going to sound better over certain chords, but you can almost always pass through any note. So this particular one over the third, this little move in from a half step below, that always sounds good. And you can really move into any note from a half step. Well, you can slide into it, but you can also articulate the note. You don't want to go backwards, you want to go, right? You can usually always go a half step above, although it sounds a little bit weird, or a whole step above. Half step is 1 fret, whole step is 2 frets. So, right? So I can, just over that chord shape, I can target every note, the last note of this little grouping. 1 fret above, 1 fret below, land on it. Right? And all I'm doing is, you can go 2 frets below, 2 frets above, right? You can mix them up, right? So, that's basically what I'm doing when I'm improvising. Is I'm taking chord shapes and I'm mixing in arpeggio tones out of the various chords that I'd be playing. A little bit of blues scale. And some chromaticism. So if you have any questions, leave a comment. If you need me to clarify anything, that's fine. I don't have a plan for this. I'm kind of rambling. Maybe you'll have some more structure as things go on, but I kind of like just talking, like if I were teaching a private lesson. So anyway, have a great time playing.